All right, so we're on worksheet 1, quiz review worksheet 1, and we're looking now at problems 17 through 20. And on these problems, they're starting to ask us to solve for that missing side or the missing angle. So we're just remembering that for all of these, we're just doing SOHCAHTOA. I mean SOHCAHTOA over and over again. Well, if here's my angle, that's my starting point. I see over here, that's the hypotenuse, but I don't have the hypotenuse. Well, next to the angle is the adjacent side, the adjacent leg, that's 12. And that means that this x, that's the opposite. Well, I have opposite, or O, and I have adjacent, or A. That's going to be my TOA, because that's the O and the A. So I'm going to do the tangent of the angle, 64. Remember, this spot is always our angle. Always the angle. Equals the opposite, or x, over the adjacent, or 12. Well, my next step for solving for a side is just going to times by the denominator. So whatever's down here, I'm just going to times by 12. I'm just going to get rid of that denominator and give us 12 times the tangent of 64 equals x. Now my next step was to get x alone. Well, x is alone. So now I can just plug this right into my calculator. So I wanted 12 times tangent of 64, 24.603641. Notice they want it to the nearest tenth. So on the quiz, make sure you know what they want you to round to. So x is going to equal 24.6. So that's the nearest tenth. So let's go to the next page. It's going to be problem number 18 on the top left. And they're still asking us to solve for the side. SOHCAHTOA. Alright, well here's my angle. That's the starting point. Here's my right angle. Across from that, that's the hypotenuse. Well, this is next to it, so it's adjacent. 18 is adjacent. And x is the last one. It's opposite. Well, I know I have opposite and adjacent, so I'm doing TOA again. So tangent of the angle, or 16, equals the opposite, which is x, over the adjacent, which is 18. Times by the denominator. So again, remember, whatever's here on the denominator, that's what we times by. So that's going to essentially cancel out the denominator. And we have 18 times tan of 16 equals x. Now x is alone, so I get to just plug that right into my calculator. 18 times tan of 16. And we're rounding to the nearest tenth, so that's the first place after the decimal. So we get 5.2. 5.2 equals x. So notice down here on 19 and 20, now they're asking us to find the angle. So when they ask us to find the angle, we're doing the inverse. We're doing the inverse. Well, here we have tangent of y equals 0.0000. We want to get rid of that tan, so we're just going to do the inverse of tangent. The inverse of tangent. That crosses out, and we get y. Well, y is alone now, so we can just plug in whatever's on the other side into our calculator. So we just take the second tangent, so second button. Let me show you that again. Second button, tangent of 0.0000. And it wouldn't change if you just put in 0, but I put in exactly what they put there. And we get 0. So y equals 0. Now remember, these are angles, and so their units are always degrees. Units are always degrees for angles. So if we're looking over here, we have sine of x equals 0.9659. So we want to get rid of that sine. We're going to do inverse sine. Whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other. These are going to cancel and leave us with x. And we plug this into our calculator now. So we take second sine, or inverse sine, of 0.9659, and they want it rounded to the nearest tenth, to the nearest degree. So 74 degrees is the ones place. We look right next door, it's a 9. We get 75 degrees.